Hi there, Dylan Schnazy here from Steady Presence. I've been noticing on the local homeschooling groups, parents that are interested in homeschooling and aren't quite sure if it's for them. And I wanted to share some of the reasons why we homeschool. And keep in mind, these are just my opinions. We at Steady Presence here believe that everyone has the freedom to choose what's right for their family. And if homeschooling is right for your family, great. If you need to send them to public school, great. Whatever works for your family, that's the most important. And so I'm just going to share some reasons why we homeschool, and maybe these reasons also fit for your family. So, number one is flexibility. And what I mean by that is, when I was in school, we would go from, especially like high school, from course to course. So 50 minutes for science, 50 minutes for Spanish, etc. And so, also keep in mind, my kids are 5 and 3, so we're not into the full homeschooling routine yet, but we live our lives like we homeschool, because we homeschool. And so when the kids come across topics that interest them, they spend more time on it because they want to know more about it. Like if you were in a job and now you needed to know how to do Excel spreadsheets this way, well, you're gonna take the time then to learn about it. You're not gonna learn about it 10 years ago and then hope to remember it by then. So our kids, they pick up on things at the times that it's right in their life to learn it. So a good example for us is when the kids are learning to write their letters. Like Ted would make, he would make these cards called greetings. Like, oh, can I send my friends some greetings? And so he's like, oh, well, I'm gonna need to know how to write my name. And so we learn how to write T, E, and D, and then he would write his name E-D-T and ask, oh, did I spell my name? Well, you're close. We need to get the order right. So now he spells T-E-D. So there's flexibility in the learning. The second reason why we homeschool is we want to raise kids that won't appeal to authority. And that sounds really rebel rouser, and what I mean by that is, in school, the reason why we want to get good grades is because we want to make someone above us happy. We want to appeal to that teacher that wants us to understand the material, and therefore that's why we want to get the good grades. Or we want to appeal to our parents. I think it's human nature to try to appeal to the people that we love in our life, or the people that we want to love us. And so we work hard at school as a means to do that, rather than being intrinsically motivated to learn the thing. So for a good example for me is, I was blessed to have a great understanding of chemistry. And so when I took my junior level chemistry class, I wanted more. So I took advanced placement chemistry. And I didn't get good grades in that course because I was trying to appeal to somebody. I got good grades because I was intrinsically motivated to learn more about the subject. And so that's one thing about me is whenever I look at my world, I see its molecular structure. I look at this steel truck that just passed me, and I think of how metal is a sea of electrons and how that affects the properties of that truck. Or I look at these lilacs and understand that the color of the purple lilacs is from chromophores in the flower. So I was intrinsically motivated to learn rather than to appeal to authority. And the appeal to authority complex is something that carries on to many parts of our life. It's why we continue to be at a job we hate. It's why we tend to do things that we don't like to do because we want to make somebody else feel good about the actions that we're doing, rather than picking the things in our life that interest us and do those things. Another reason why we homeschool is, I'm going to say the word bodily autonomy. And what I mean by that is our kids can sleep in as long as they want to. They get up when their bodies tell them that they've had enough rest. So we don't have to set an alarm and do the wake up routine grudgingly. I mean, I as an adult, I tend to wake up at 6 o'clock every day because that's when my body says that I've had enough rest. And some of the days that I go to bed at, let's say, 11, it's funny because I wake up at 6:45 the next day. That's the 8-ish hours that I needed. Another example would be eating at school is frowned upon. It's like, why do we have to eat lunch at noon? Why is that a thing? Shouldn't we be able to eat at times that our body tells us we're hungry? And if we eat in class, we're told that we're disrespectful. Or, I mean, we're also told, at least I was told, that I shouldn't eat in class because there's other kids in the class that are not fortunate to have food. And I think that's a reflection of putting together kids of different socioeconomic statuses that wouldn't necessarily associate with each other if it wasn't for the building of a school itself. But whenever I ate in class, I always thought, oh, look at me, I'm a Boy Scout, I'm prepared for when I get hungry. But it didn't, that wasn't the, people that didn't agree with my opinion on that, especially as a kid in high school. So it makes me think that eating disorders, especially for young girls, could be developed from saying that, you can't eat at this time, but you can only eat at this time. And then the most important example is when you can go to the bathroom. That always peeved me off when I was in school. That you had to, okay, obviously there's times as an adult that I can't just get up and go to the bathroom. But it should be most of the time that when you have to go, you have to go. And so in school they make it so difficult because you got to get a pass, and then they I don't know if they still do this. I've been out of school now for 12 years. So I don't even know what they do anymore, but I think when we were in school, they would mark down, okay, 10:36 you left and you returned at 10:45. Okay, so first, that's a big invasion of privacy. What if you had digestive issues and that was marked down somewhere, that you were in the bathroom for a really long time, or that you were then, they were suspicious that you were doing something nefarious, but you were just going to the bathroom. And so when I was in school, I remember one time where I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom, and I got stopped in the hallway and pretty close to being reprimanded for, tending to a bodily need. And that can have a negative effect on children, especially young children. That, again, there's an appeal to authority complex there where, oh, I can't go to the bathroom until they say I can, or I can't eat lunch until they say I can. And then when you become an adult, how does that affect you as an adult? I have to do these things that society tells me to because they tell me I have to do them. So it's interesting. And then I'll wrap it up with this story. Dealing with social anxiety at school. I mean, how many plot lines of a TV show are based on kids having a hard time in high school, and we think that that's a normal activity. When I was in school, I remember the kids that were, let's say, homosexuals in high school and at a different high school, but they were committing suicide. I mean, as a parent today, to send my kid to an institution where that would even be a thing, like, oh my gosh. I mean, I was raised conservatively, and like, we had opinions on, I guess, how you should live your life. I don't anymore. I don't have that opinion. But kids shouldn't be in a situation where they would think about taking their life for a decision on how they live their life. Anyway, back to me and how I had social anxiety in high school. I would bike to school, and when I got into school, I tried to bike to school where I would arrive to school like 5 minutes before the bell rings, so that I would avoid talking to anybody at all costs. And there is, on my route to my locker, there was a girl that I liked, and she might be watching this video, and now you know. But I wanted so bad to talk to her, but she was surrounded by all of her friends, and that was very overwhelming for me. I couldn't just go up and like talk to her. She was always surrounded by her friends, and so I just walked on by every day, tried to go to my locker and try to go into my seat as fast as possible without talking to anybody. And I'm sure most of you know who I am today, and I would be, happy to sit down with anybody and have a conversation about stuff. But I didn't always feel like that. And then another example is junior and senior year of high school, when everyone was like signing yearbooks and stuff. I was so overwhelmed by that, I don't know, expectation to get a lot of signatures at the back of your yearbook, that I would go into the bathroom and I would just be in there, because I I didn't want to deal with it. Maybe I thought it was cheesy. But I mean, that's just my personal experience with high school, and it may be different for a lot of other people, but it's something to consider. Know who your kid is and make a decision based on that. So just some things to consider. My experiences going to school, what works for your family, and let me know if you what were your experiences in high school. Were they largely positive? Was it largely negative? What were things that popped out to you in high school that you wouldn't want your kids today being around? I would be interested to know. Okay, take care, everybody. I'm going to post this video to various homeschooling groups in the area, as well to my personal page. And if this video resonates with you, or you know families that are interested in homeschooling, share this video with them. And again, these are just my opinions, my experiences, and I make these videos as a means to start conversations, get you thinking about what it is you want in life. So, okay, take care, everybody.